travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant.
Hey besties, this is Julie.
This is Chantel, and we are Viera Vida.
Welcome back to Coping with Corona with the Viera Vida show. It is another day, another Zoom episode, and our engineer Dylan has made it possible for us to be able to be here with you visually and audibly. So thank you so much for that to our engineer Dylan, DJ, the Pum pum pums. Okay, so I'm gonna get that soundboard eventually, Chantel. For now, it seems like you got it for me. So today is another really interesting day. For those of you who are maybe watching this later in life, we are knee deep in the pandemic of the coronavirus. We have been home on quarantine for some of us over a month now, and life is just crazy. So what our show is here to do is help you through anything that you could be going through. And I know you're probably tired of talking about these things through the media. We want to give a fresh perspective because we really do think it's important to address the elephant in the room.
Yes.
With that being said, though, we have a little bit of a schedule to go ahead and get through, and
No,
part of
we
our schedule.
We organized, do whatever during this time.
We organized. We are organized, and that means that we are going to go ahead and begin with our listener shout outs. Shan underscore. Do you want to get us started?
I honestly don't even know if my listener shout out has changed from last week. I feel like it's the same. Just because it's the truth as far as, I think we shouted out the essential workers last week and people on the front line, the grocery workers, everybody still going out there, the distribution centers, factory workers. Shout out to my dad, essential workers still getting out there and doing his thing. So for 2 weeks in a row, y'all still hold the title, the true MVPs.
Yes.
So much. And I'll say thank you so much. Really, seriously, y'all.
That is so good. I love it that they're holding the title. They could hold the title for the rest of my life as long as I'm concerned.
You're right. You're right.
They're keeping us alive and healthy. I would like to piggyback off of that, but I won't because I do have a shout out prepared. And my shout out goes to actually the media. I value the media so much in this country, and it seems like it has been in a lot of ways minimized. And, a lot of that has to do with our leadership and the rhetoric and sometimes even badgering during press conferences and things like this. And I find that is an American. We have our constitutional right to free speech, to open press. And so I really value that. I want to make sure that that's something that I'm fighting for to continue supporting in my life, because without them, we wouldn't have the same knowledge that we do now. We would probably, I mean the world, I don't mean just the US, we would probably be in worse situations, because if we weren't also hearing the scientists when we were hearing certain members in leadership, we would have acted differently. So I just want to thank the media. I think what they're doing is great. I think it's important that you watch both conservative and liberal channels just to get a full picture. And I think it's important that we support them. So go press.
Very, very true. Even though some of them conservative ones might be in trouble after all
this. A mess. I think I've had this on the show before, but one time I went to go get an EEG done in a hospital, and they weren't able to induce a seizure while I was there. And so the neurologist was like, you need to turn on Fox News. And y'all, I thought she was joking, but now I'm kind of upset because I found out that she really put that in the notes, and my cardiologist was like, this is absurd. She is not taking this seriously. It was so funny.
Well, she probably would have been sparked up some unneeded stress and
no, it's true. And this was during what was happening. There was some
debates,
debates,
like at the very beginning of them, very beginning of the Democratic debates, when there was like 50 candidates and 50 people up on a stage.
Right, it was like a candidate per state.
Yes.
Oh, I wonder if they would ever do that. Anyway, that aside, I think let's get right into it. Today, you guys, um I am sorry, I'm umming. I had got zero sleep. Let's go ahead and start there because my poor kitty cat, Paris Kitty, was so sick last night. And she's actually at the vet now. My husband took her this morning and I'd never seen her like that. She was yelping, she was crying. She usually will sleep on the bed with me. She will not like she didn't want to be anywhere near the bed because she didn't want to jump up. I was like on the floor all night with a blanket and a pillow, just like so worried about her. So no sleep, and that disclaimer's out there. Now let's continue. Coping with Corona and the
Yeah.
Viera Vida show. I have so much that I have been intaking from the
Mhm.
interwebs and digesting, and I was hoping we could digest it together. Let's jump right into it. The first thing was this post, and this post said, if you don't leave the quarantine
Mm.
with a new gig, a new hobby, a new skill, or advancing in your business, then it was never time that you lacked, it was discipline. Let's hear your response to that.
I think that's can be very true because right now all we have is time on our hands.
Hmm.
As long as you are home, like you're not an essential worker, you're home. You're having to follow the stay-at-home orders. That's really true. Um, One of the things that I'm finding with myself, and I told my sister, I'll be honest, and I'm gonna put it out there. I'm finding that because I'm being stuck in home, I'm starting to become very lazy. I'll be honest.
Oh,
I text
it's
my sister
routine.
yesterday. Hmm?
It's routine, you got to develop a routine, and when it changes, it's hard.
Yeah.
So, my first impression was the same thing. Initially, I thought, you know what? Yeah, I get that. This is a perfect time to do those things. And then I thought, but that's not fair because I think in these unprecedented times, everybody is coping differently. And
Right.
that's okay. Like, it's totally fair for someone to not know what to do, to be completely stagnant. This is not a time that we've all understood in the
No.
past.
And it's also fair to take time to relax, however
Right.
long that needs to be, where you're catching up on books. Um, Maybe you've been grinding so hard and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna stop and I'm gonna watch some Netflix shows. I'm gonna stop and I'm gonna turn on Hulu or whatever, because there's people that grind, grind, and grind, and it's like maybe it's a good time to just reset and take a breather. So
Right.
that's
Like, when are we going to be able to take this breather again?
right, right,
And so I just want to caution anybody who's out there being really hard on themselves when it comes to this. Like, I haven't worked on my business at all. And, I was really worried about that this week. I'm like, oh, money is coming in. And what am I going to do? Like, after this, my business should be popping. I should have all these. And I was like, no, right now, my priority isn't that. Like, right
right,
now, my priority is my mental and physical health. And for my mental and physical health, I need to be doing something to help with this virus. And so that's why I'm making the masks. And everyone's wondering why I'm not doing them for free. I don't believe in profiting off of, why I'm not doing them for cost. Like, you can buy
and why you
masks.
are doing them for free? Yeah,
Right. That's what I meant. And I don't believe in profiting off of a pandemic. And so, I've gotten a lot of pushback where people are like, well, you should be doing this for your business. You should be putting your logo on these masks. You should be selling them. You should be. And I started getting really down on myself. I'm like, I should be. My business is like, what am I doing? What am I doing? And then I really sat back and I was like, no, I should be doing what my heart needs to do to cope. And this is what my heart needs to do. And I will look back and still be happy with this, even if, you know, my business didn't improve in this
right.
time.
And can I tell you, I thought about that for you for a second. I'm gonna be so honest. It's like, I wonder if Julie thought about, selling these at least to the public. I was like, you know what? No, because however she's doing it, this might be her blessing. This might no. And I did not. I was going to text you. I was like, However
Yeah,
she knows she needs to be doing it is how she knows. Because one, I think you are a very smart woman, and I think as far as business, and all the research and the learning that you do, if that's what you wanted to do, you would have done that. You know what
right.
I'm saying? So No, stick to your guns, boo. Stick to
And
your guns.
amen. Here's the that. I think a lot of people are probably struggling with the same thing. Like, should I be doing something that's more in whoever's terms productive? And I just think that you need to be doing whatever it is that you need to do to take care of yourself. And
Right.
that's not to say, because I don't want people down the line to be like, oh, she's full of it or whatever. That's not to say that if it gets to the point where people don't need them to survive or to work in the hospitals, I might not want to make them in like, oh, if people want to just be having masks, if they're going on planes or whatever, they can have them through the business because I have to pay for that stuff
Right.
anyway. But
Right.
right now, people can't access them. So anyone that's being made needs to go to someone who's in need. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And even if that is just little old me, I want to make sure that that's getting to them free. I think we got a little bit on a tangent, sorry, but that's just where my heart was in terms of that statement on Facebook. And it's been going around and it's been making people feel really bad. So, second post that I've seen online that I was hoping that we could discuss is during the coronavirus,
Mhm.
I have, and then it was watch Netflix, cook 363,000 times, um, all these things, right, that people are complaining about. So, how can we shift our paradigm, our mindset, do some mindset movement to start appreciating these things to make sure that when we are in this situation, although it is a grave situation, we are not beating ourselves up mentally and doing the opposite of affirmations? What would you say to someone?
So I was on that team maybe by the end of week 2 for me, end of week 1 for everyone else. Because again, my school, the school that I work out, they closed the week before Governor Wolf and Mayor Kinney put in the stay-at-home order and like, hey,
Right.
everybody needs to shut down who's not life-sustaining. Um, so it was going on my week 2, and I was like, man, I really feel like I need to get out of the house. I didn't feel like the other parents where it was like, oh, I'm having to teach them. It was more like, I'm ready to get out of the house. I think I was so used to getting up, dropping Eliana off to daycare, and then getting to work. I was used to that movement that now that I wasn't doing it anymore, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm stuck in this house. And
Your,
I told,
your routine.
yes. And I told my mom, I told my sister, I really have more appreciation for you and what you do as a stay-at-home mom, knowing that, you know, you don't get, because this is what really happened, Julie. I got out of the shower and I was like, whew, I got a break. Like I felt like my shower was like my time to myself. And when I
Mm,
got out of the shower, I was like, people like my sister and women or men who stay at home with their children, like they don't get these breaks. Like I'm
yeah.
happy to get, even getting out to go to work. However, my mindset did change in stepping back and appreciating seeing my children daily. Stepping back, and even though it can at times feel like a lot, because they're growing, they're learning, they're still doing things they're not supposed to do. And just like, those things like, what are you doing, child?
Yeah.
But the fun times of watching them dance and laughing with them and snuggling up, like those are things that really made me say, okay, you know what? This is not that bad. I
Right.
love my children. We're going to be okay. And I'm thankful that my husband definitely has a job regardless, because he is he's
Amen.
life sustaining.
Amen. Yep.
Um,
I was thinking
so
that
as
for
far
you.
as those worries, I don't have those. And I thank the Father for that, because I know he provides like regardless. But yeah, I just took a moment to just appreciate the fact that we're healthy and I'm able to watch these two little characters and the joy that they bring me. So
That's
yeah.
beautiful. I love that. And I love that what I'm hearing and what you said actually segues to our next discussion. And
Mhm.
that's just you being grateful for what you have. Like we are in a first world country. We are blessed. We are home safe versus stuck home.
Right.
So let's talk about that. We are in a situation now where our pantries are full, our refrigerators are full, our husbands have jobs. You and I both can feel comfortable being
Mhm.
home and being safe. And, my heart goes out to those who can't necessarily stock up on groceries for 2 weeks or even a full week at a time. I know people personally who need to go out every, couple days if they get a dollar here, a dollar there. Like you don't necessarily have that to be able to even protect yourself. And so it just makes me feel grateful for the life that we have here and in this country, because I understand that although there's a lot of disparity, we are in a place where we're home safe and not stuck home.
Yes. And also, to speak to something Julie just said, if you go to Google and you type in whatever city that you're in, but us being in Philadelphia, food resources Philadelphia COVID-19. There's literally from panin.org to phila.org, they have lists, maps, detailed information of where you can go to get grab and go meals, pantries, kitchen pantries, places that are still open that are giving out food. Chris and I just got an email about Northeast places, a couple places out here that are providing free food. And a lot of these places are not requiring, I can't say all of them, so if you want to call to confirm, but the places in Northeast, they are not requiring any eligibility.
Nope.
It's like, if you need it, just come get it. Like, we're not
Right,
asking
and
you
a
to
lot
come get it.
nationwide are doing
Right.
that.
So if you're like, what am I going to do? Hit the Googles, because there are, thank the Father, organizations out there and even government resources for you to be able to get food right now.
Yes, and I love, love, love that you said that, because I think we need to talk about that too. People, if you need this food, go out and find it. Do not be embarrassed.
Right.
I am so sick of people being embarrassed for trying to live their lives. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. These are
Right.
life-sustaining essentials. And so, for example, my mom, she's had a beautiful life, traveled the world and things like that, but her income was reliant on being a home healthcare aide for my grandmother who passed away early March. And so right now, that is how my mom's getting food. And I am so grateful for it. I'm thankful. I would never look at someone twice and be like, "What are you doing?" Because you don't know someone's situation. Yeah, they might have been okay before this, but they might not be okay now. So don't look at other people and shame them. Don't be embarrassed if it's you. Don't be nervous if you feel that you for some reason shouldn't qualify, because at the end of the day, if you need it, you need it.
Right. Right.
And that leads to another point. This
Mhm.
conversation is just going exactly how I was hoping. And that next point I wanted to make is that a lot of people are hoarding groceries. And we have been told time and time again that our food sources are not, in a position where we should be lacking. And so I do understand filling up your pantry. I don't understand um, an extreme hoarding situation. And here's why. Some people can't get their food in bulk. And so when they show up to the store and there's nothing for them to get, especially early in the month, such as this weekend, which is the first weekend that a lot of people got WIC checks and things like that, they're not going to be able to get the foods that they wanted. So I just wanted to encourage people that if you're going out, whether you're hoarding or not, that's fine, do you, but keep that in mind. But also keep in mind which brand you're getting. If it says WIC brand on the tag, then maybe, especially this weekend, choose another brand, because there are other options that you can get, but not necessarily someone who's using cupones for it.
Right. Very good point.
And it breaks my heart. So much of this is very emotional for me. So I just want to give us time to just sort of gather all those things. In the next segment, I'm hoping that we can talk about our personal reactions to the Corona-19 virus and share with you some of the feelings that we're having, so that you know that you're not alone. Thank you for sticking with us. And just after this break, we'll get a little bit deeper.
I came out in the 11th grade. Nobody was embracing you. The kids were cruel. It was very difficult to be gay. Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. And even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma. I have a mentor, Maria, and she convinced me to continue my education. Just never judges. She's a true role model.
From the depths of my heart, I thank you, Maria, for being a friend and a beautiful person. No one receives a diploma alone, and I'm honored to share this moment with you. Thank you.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, go get it. You can do it.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
To the Viera Vida show, Coping with Corona, together as we are amidst the 2020 coronavirus pandemic. We are here to help you cope, share with you what we are doing to cope, and maybe dispel some of the anger and non-affirming things that you're seeing online. So Chantel, just before this break, we were talking about sharing how we were coping, and you actually began by sharing, some paradigm shifts that you've had, because every week's going to be different, every day is going to be different, and this is going to affect you differently. So can you share with us a little bit of that journey for those just turning in, and what your advice would be based off of how you're feeling?
My advice would be, whatever your heart desires for that day, do it. I remember I had a schedule like set for Nehemiah. Like we wake up at this time, and then there was breakfast, and then we were doing academics for this much time, whether it was like workbooks, and then after that time was creative time, and then quiet time to nap time. So and I did this for a few days, and then it got to a day where I felt like I don't want to do this today.
Right.
Like, you know what? We're not doing this today. Let's go do something else. And I talked to my sister, and she was like, that's fine. You're able to do that. So I want to tell people that while, yes, if you're a person who needs to stick to that schedule daily, stick to it. If you're a person where it's like, okay, I've done this schedule for so many days, and now today we're going to take a break from the schedule, do it. Whatever you need to do to keep your happy and keep your sanity during this time, as far as routine or not, then do it. There's always tomorrow as far as, all right, let's jump back on this routine. And it's gotten to the point with Nehemiah where we do workbook activities, so many pages, and then we enjoy the rest of our day. Like, and another thing I noticed with my son, we've asked his teachers before if Nehemiah had like a rough time in the morning, like waking up, how was he today? Oh, he was great. He was really, really good. So one thing that I've learned, and something I've always heard with my parents, is your children will at times act different with other people, and that different can be better than what you were expecting them to behave that day. So when I'm trying to teach Nehemiah some things, he doesn't really want to listen. And when I'm trying to like Nehemiah, he's really not paying attention. And I'm wondering if it's because you're mom and you're not my teachers. So I try to pull him back in, but I do what I can to get his attention. Let's learn this. And sometimes he's happy to get on his little white erase board. Mom, let's do some math. Like, he'll tell me himself, how much is this? And he'll want to play teacher. But whatever you have to do for your happy during this time, I say do it. As long as you're not hurting yourself and you're not harming other people, do whatever makes you happy.
Do what you got to do for your happy. I like that. I heard two things. One, it's okay to unschool. I've seen that trending around where, you do what's best for your child, your kids, your family, whoever. And then the other thing I've been seeing going around is a post where it says, my child, after homeschooling, said that I hope I have a different teacher next year.
Yes.
And you know what? Sometimes it's like that, they see you in a different way. And I think, and I just want to make a prediction that this will actually change the way that whoever the children are that are in the school system now view their teachers when they get back. And I can see that being positive. I can see them appreciating that. I hear them saying that they miss the connection with their school teachers and with their classmates. I also see that people are appreciating teachers more, and everyday people who, you know, maybe had a problem with the school supply list before are like, ask for 3 bottles of vodka and I won't ask questions next
Yeah, I
year.
saw that post too.
So I think this is good. I think there's a lot of positive that could come out of this as long as we're intentional about it.
Yes, and I actually have a late in the show. What is Chantel doing? Throwing a wrench in this real quick. Shout out, sending roses now to my cousin Cherie Wilkins. She is in New Jersey. She was a Burlington County Teacher of the Year for one of the years. Yeah, yeah, go you.
Wow.
So she
A
was
good
on
year.
the news. Yeah, she's really, really good. And she was on the news last night with a couple other New Jersey teachers because they are going to be doing NJTV, where they're going to be on TV and teaching lessons. And she was one of the teachers that will be in that. She was on NBC 10 for one of the segments last night. So shout out to her. I just thought about that. Her
Wow.
in that, yeah.
You
Really
guys,
good.
that's beautiful. That is so cool.
Yeah.
I have a huge appreciation for teachers, and I think part of it has to do with going to boarding school. You know, you spent more time with your teachers than a normal person would, because, you know, we would be on campus all day and we would never really see our parents, but we would be our teachers, and sometimes they would take us on the weekends and love on us and things like that. And I just really have a vision for this world where that's something that's more common, because, and you know this, Chantel, even to this day, sometimes when I'm in a really tough place, that's who I'm calling. You know, like if, for example, my wedding, I didn't really have family that was supportive and there for me. Well, it was a teacher from Milton Hershey that I'm very close with that, you know, got us together. We had a place to sleep. They made breakfast. They made lunch. They make
It
sure
was a really good spread. Yeah.
Amazing. And
Yeah.
so there's something to be said about these people who dedicate their lives to bettering your children. And so I pray that we appreciate them.
Yes, definitely. And I'm hoping that raises are going to happen after this COVID-19 is done,
Right.
finish with this pandemic, and we get back to normal, whatever normal is. Who knows what that's going to be for us after this? But, you know, once the schools get open back up and the teachers get back in there, they definitely need to be recognizing that they all deserve raises.
Yes. And I saw a post that was like, we should pay teachers like athletes. I'm just putting that out there.
Yeah, but it's true. Listen, there's a lot of different personalities, et cetera, with even children as young as 4 or 5 years old. So
Right.
I do also second that they need to be paid like the athletes.
Yeah.
I'm probably hijacking. You know what? I'll wait till like later in the show to hijack you, because you probably have some more things you want to talk about, right?
Oh no, you can hijack. I just, in the spirit of fairness, I think I should share, you know, my mindset during this.
Sorry, see, I'm
like
hijacking. Yes, Julie, how are you doing?
No. It's just I think it's vulnerable for you to share, and it's really beautiful to do, and it's not fair if I'm not expressing that same vulnerability. Although I would love not to sometimes, because I'm really emotional. And so that's my confession right there. I have been more emotional than ever during this pandemic, and I don't know if it's, you know what, I'm just gonna read something that I wrote last night, because I was like, why am I doing this? Why is the mask? Why am I feeling the way I am? And I wrote, I've always been an empath, and so seeing people hurt really hurts me. That's true. That you know my whole thing about old people eating alone and all kinds of stuff. I can't handle it. So seeing the world hurt together struck me hard for some reason. I can't say why. I just felt like a really deep pain seeing this pandemic break out. And I wonder if part of it is because I'm an empath, and part of it is probably because I felt like my world crashed down when I lost my grandma just before this broke out. But I wasn't sleeping, you know, I was crying every night. Every time I heard the death tolls rise, it's like some people can segment that and be like, this is a number, and like sort of like digest it. I am like, that's this many families and this many families and this, and like it just was driving me crazy. So when people are asked why I'm doing what I'm doing and how I'm doing it, in short, I'd say, you know, like if I could help one person hurt less, that's what I'm here for. That's what I want to do. It helps me feel better, and I feel like that's how I cope. So yeah.
Can I ask you, so we know because you've been transparent, which is something I would wanted to hijack you about was these masks. That's where we were going, right? Or where I was going to go. But what is Julie doing besides the masks? Is there anything that Julie's doing besides the masks that is helping you try to keep you level, or try to, okay, oh my gosh, these numbers. Okay, let me bring myself back down. What are you doing? What does that look like for you, for your self-care in this time?
My self-care hasn't been great. I do have to be honest about that. And I'm gonna have to do better when it comes to that. Like, I'm gonna have to start saying no more making masks until 3 in the morning. Even though my husband put a 7:30 no sewing machine curfew, I have been asking for extensions all week, and so I'm not doing a good
Does
job.
this notice come with the fine? No? All right. Take these little notes off.
I was like, I'm gonna need an extension. He's like, you've asked for an extension since I put the rule in. And I'm like, I get that. I'm gonna have to change that. I'm also gonna have to actually, one thing I have been doing is watching less of the news, just because it has been really painful. What I do watch is generally about PPE and precautions, like anything the CDC says, and FEMA. But I've been trying to stay away from the news a little bit because I was watching it all day. But yeah, I don't. It's hard to admit, but yeah, I don't think heeding the advice that I'm trying to put out here. Wow, that's like a little shocker. I should do better.
But it's showing that you're human. And thank you for your vulnerability and being honest with everybody. Because it's also letting everyone know we're not alone. There's people who are in that same boat. So thank you for that.
Yeah, it's been really stressful, and now it's helping this conversation, and I hope this show is this for other people cathartic, but has helped me realize some things. And I think like for the last 4 days I've had seizures every day, and my husband is like, what's going on? I'm also changing medication and things like that, but I think part of it is, stress can really affect your body, and so you have to be really careful, especially if you suffer from migraines and seizures, things like that. So I'm going to be more intentional. I'm going to have to set out a routine. And that's how I'm going to cope with this, because if I don't have a routine, then I will do this all day. I haven't had any time to play with my little crafts, do my journaling, to, nothing. All I do is wake up, make some breakfast, do some masks, make some dinner, do some masks, take a shower. Like, that's what I do.
Yeah. With the masks, if I can ask, you did put up a post with the update. You wanted to be transparent because another piece to all of this, if anybody is just now tuning in and hearing about it, you also asked if anyone was able to donate to you to please donate, whether it be supplies or, monetary donations, so that you can continue this, because as everyone knows, you're a full-time entrepreneur. You don't have another paycheck coming in from a 9-to-5, or a traditional 9-to-5, I should say. So you were asking if anybody could help. So with the donations and everything, you've been very transparent about where everyone's money is going, and that's what you're using them for. So can you, and I don't know if you wanted to take too much time on this, because I have a feeling this might not have been on your list, because you might not have wanted to talk about yourself, because you're very humble in that aspect. But you can give everybody just a little update on that.
Okay, I hear you. Yes. So I believe that fundraising is completely different than business in so many ways, right? And so I believe that you have to be transparent with people's money. If people are donating, you don't even know where your next checks are coming from. Like, sorry, that's
emotional again. Yeah, I know.
Every time I think about people donating when they don't know where their next checks are coming from, when they don't know, like what this next month's gonna look like, it really touches me. And so not a single person has asked me a question about like, what's going on with this money? How much did you get? Blah, blah, blah. And I decided that they have the right to, and I think their trust is beautiful. So I'm going to be even more open. And so my husband at first was a little alarmed. He's never really worked in fundraising though. So that's what I said to him. I was like, well, when have you ever worked in fundraising? But, all right, sorry, babe. But he was like, in business, you don't share your books. And I was like, you do when you're dealing with other people's money in donation form, because I vowed not to keep a single cent, not a cent. I am 100%, everything is going to mass. And in fact, I did a little bit of a projection, and I am just shy of being able to supply masks for the entire month of April, which we are projected to still be on quarantine.
Wow,
so,
Julie.
yeah. So yeah, with the donations, that has been amazing. And that was my goal, to be able to provide masks for the whole time we were on quarantine, or as much time as they're needing them for free. So I decided that I was going to put the books together. I was going to share everything that we're spending with. I was going to share it publicly. I was going to make sure people knew how many masks I'm making. I was going to make sure people knew where their money was going to, how much money. And that's what I did. So if you're interested in seeing that stuff, it's both on my Instagram, Jules dash, is it Jules dash or Jules underscore Viera? Sorry, I didn't say last name. Excuse me, my Facebook, the protective equipment fundraiser, all of that information I will continue to make public. I will make sure that everyone knows where their money's going, because this isn't something that I'm playing around with. Like, this isn't something that I think is just for it's not really fun, y'all. I'm gonna be honest. It's painful. My back hurts. I'm not that great at sewing. It's not for fun. So I think it's important to be accountable. And so that's what I'm doing.
Well, thank you again for everything that you're doing. You are like an angel in this time. So thank you so much. And then to be so transparent, it should make people feel, even though you said nobody asked, the fact that you're doing it without anyone asking should let the peoples know that, you know, that where their money is going is exactly where you said it was going to be going. So
yeah,
no, kudos to you.
It will continue.
And another coffee sip to you. Quick question. Huh?
Muy bonita.
Hola.
Oh, cross-eyed.
And look. And then there's like this cute bird on the inside on your drink.
Oh,
this was a Target. This was a Target find.
I love Target finds.
Yeah.
So cute. Since we're sharing mugs, mine is, it's so over. It is
Winnie the Pooh. Very cute. So I do have a couple quick announcements. I wanted to say this last time, but we didn't get to it. Did you fill out your census? You or Julio, by chance? Okay, but you know what though? Everybody, you still have time. You have it's somewhere, right? I just wanted to remind everybody, see, they got their envelope and their code. Fill out your census. I know there's a whole bunch of conspiracies about, get my information. Listen, the government already has your information. If you pay taxes and whatever, they got all that already. Just fill it out. It really helps our communities and your community, wherever you are, with the resources. If we do not fill them out, we do not get the resources that we need and the funding that we need for us, for our community, and for our people. So fill those out. The deadline was April 1st. However, if this pandemic wasn't going on, they would have been coming around knocking on your door, which after this pandemic is done, they are going to be coming around knocking on your door. So just fill it out, help your town out, help yourself out. The next quick announcement I wanted to make was as far as taxes. I spoke to a mutual friend that Julie and I have, who is a tax professional, and he said yesterday, if you or Chris can get in contact with your tax person now and get it done now within the next 3 weeks, it's very important to do that if you can before they start doing the stimulus checks. And he gave me his reasons why. I was in the line at Target at the time, so I can't give you all of his reasons. One of the reasons that he said was, like, Chantel, that's an added to make sure you do get this done, is Eliana was born at the beginning of 2019, right? We haven't filed our 2019 taxes yet. So with us not doing that, we're only going to get whatever dependents we claimed in 2018, and she wasn't here.
So there's just one disclaimer to that. So this is actually being considered a tax rebate. So I know a lot of people need it right now, but let's say that you didn't file it and then you don't end up getting that. It will be credited to you in 2021. When you file your 2020 taxes, you will get that money. That being said, a lot of people need it right now. So
yes, good. That was a good point to that. So while they gave us the extension, don't think that you have to wait. Oh, let me wait till July. If you want to get it done now and you are able to, whether you're doing it online or your tax professional is allowing you to submit electronically, reach out to them. You don't have to wait if you do not want to. And I had one question for you, Julie.
Okay.
Are there any shows or YouTube videos that you're keeping in the background while you're doing your masks? Anything you're catching up on at this time, or?
So the first week of making masks, every day I watched Disney.
Mm-hmm.
I watched Dumbo. I watched let's see, I had a whole list. Beauty and the Beast. I have on my list out out what's the new one?
That new one, Onward or something like that?
Onward, because I
Mhm.
hear that's really good and it just came out on Disney Plus, and Wally, because I haven't seen that. So it's just
You
been a
haven't
lot of
seen
Disney.
Wall-E? That's the
No.
cutest thing. You'll love it. Because
I
it's
tried
so
to
cute
watch it yesterday during making masks, but because there's not a lot of dialogue and
at
I'm
first.
here,
Yes.
I was like, wait,
Missing things.
how did this? No, I gotta sit down and watch that.
Yeah, that's a cute one. I feel like Wally didn't get a lot of love, but I feel like it's really cute and heartwarming, at least to me. Oh yeah, you're gonna like it.
Yeah, how about you?
So I've been watching a lot of kid shows too because the kids are here. Anything that I want to watch, an adult show, that's if I'm in the kitchen by myself with the laptop in the corner and them staying in the living room. So we watched Sonic the
Oh,
Hedgehog. That was actually really cute. Sonic the Hedgehog, which if you're a Prime member, I don't know what other platforms it's on, but Amazon Prime, because it's in the movie theaters right now, you can actually rent it.
yeah.
While it's in theater. There's a few other movies that are in theater, sit on your couch renting. Sonic. I feel like there's something else we just watched that I haven't seen. Nope, I've already seen it. Nehemiah watched The Lorax, and I watched that with him again. Horton Hears the Who. We did a lot of like Dr. Seuss movies.
So,
Last night we watched Chicken Little. And what I love about watching these movies is Nehemiah's laugh when something funny happens. And he just cracks up. It's the cutest thing. And it just, again, brings like a lot of happiness to me. I'm also slower on watching the adult shows because I don't watch them around my children. And Nehemiah is awake a lot of the time. He even sometimes fights naps. But I've been watching All American, which is like number 3 or 2 right now on Netflix. It is pretty good. Football TV shows, though, I have to say, this is good and it will make you cry a little bit. But Friday Night Lights was my favorite
oh yeah.
TV football sports drama. Like it was just done so well. It was so much about football and so much about drama. And I feel like All American is so much about drama because it's a CW, and then the football is like just added in.
Okay.
So it's good, but to me, it's like
CW does a good job in general.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, and again, it did bring tears to my eyes. I saw everybody like, "Oh my gosh, this made me cry." I'm like, "This ain't gonna make me cry," and it got me. It did get me. All American, Letter for the King on Netflix. We watched a movie called The Platform. It was weird, and we were like, "Oh, this is different," and then it ended. Is one of those movies that ended like that's it, which is what, huh?
Okay, I saw it. I saw the little title screen, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, it was a little weird, but yeah, a lot of children's shows, which I don't mind because I too grew up on Disney and grew up watching those things and can sing the songs and recite the lines. So
Right.
yeah, that's what
I love it. I've actually really been loving Disney. I've always loved Disney, but I have been told that I have a childlike spirit, and so I was always a little bit embarrassed at like how much I love Disney. Like, I'm like, I'm such a kid. I'm such a kid. Now I started embracing it because I'm like, you know what? Whatever. I have my ears everywhere. That's how I learned how to sew, my bell painting, I don't care anymore. So I'm just gonna be me, unapologetically, because my word of the year has been well, it's to self-preservation. And so part of that has to do with just being my authentic self.
Yeah.
And that means that I'm watching all the Disney movies.
Right. Whatever what do we say? Whatever makes you happy, find your happy and do it, right?
Right.
If my family ever goes on a trip to Disney World, we're inviting you.
Yes, I cannot wait. Speaking of trips, in April, a lot of people had trips planned, whether it was for spring break or birthdays or whatever it may be. And I just want to let you guys know it's okay to grieve those trips because I've been hearing a lot of things. Well, oh, people are dying, so you're not allowed to feel this. You're not allowed to be sad about your birthday or this or that. Yes, you are. Okay, because that's a life event, that's a memory, that's something that you were going to do that was going to be impactful to your
Yep.
psyche.
Yep.
So we were going to go to Panama in April, celebrate my husband's birthday. And, it's just sad that he's not going to be able to experience that for his birthday. We're going to go with his cousins, and we've never traveled with family before. So it was going to be really exciting. And then I think also our Colombia trip later in the year is going to be canceled, that we were going to go and present my godson and his nephew to the church, to be like, we will raise this child in God. Different than baptism for those of you who
Like a dedication or
like a dedication, yeah. And in Spanish we call it Spanish people call it presentation.
okay.
But yeah, so that's also gonna be canceled. And so that I've been grieving that a little bit because I had a really hard 2019, and the one thing that was keeping me motivated to like be a positive person and to be, really
Yeah.
beautifully committed in my marriage and different things like that were these
Traveling.
memories that we were going to
Yeah.
build.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I've been grieving that a little bit.
Yeah. So I don't want to give details because I don't know if my nieces are listening, but there was a big family thing coming up in May, and don't think that's going to happen either. It was a really big surprise to the little ones, that I'm glad we decided to keep it a surprise. Because if
Good.
we didn't keep it a surprise, they right now would be confused as to why that's not happening.
Yeah.
So yeah, that, a little sad about that. But as long as we are still here next year, I'm like, there's always hopefully next year, prayerfully next year or some other time, as long as we make it through this. So
Yeah,
yeah.
we'll make it through, you guys. We got to do it a positive spirit, but we'll make it through.
Yeah. Julie, I might need you to, I'm nicefully demanding, requesting a t-shirt for me for being an April baby, being stuck in the house during
Okay.
this COVID pandemic
What's
situation.
it gonna say? April. I have to think of something.
Yeah, no, and I know you will. Yeah, because I'm gonna be another one who will be celebrating. My mother celebrated her birthday yesterday in the house. My dad took off. I think he made her breakfast. He bought her an ice cream cake, and we all got on like Facebook Messenger together on the video chat and like saying her happy birthday.
Oh,
like nice
that's
ice cream cake. And I'm
adorable.
like, that's so big for just the two of you. He was like, well, I bought it as if we all would have been here.
Yeah, that's cute. Well, you
Yeah.
know what? They'll have ice cream cake for like a week.
Exactly. They
Some
can
people
just
2
enjoy
weeks.
that. Exactly. So I'm going to be another one in the house.
Right.
But just being thankful. And I understand grieving because people do have plans. People really go all out on their birthdays. But one of the ways that I'm looking at it is, prayfully my family is still healthy during that time. And that's what I'll have to be thankful for.
Yeah, and I don't know if the listeners catch this, but something that I really commend you for is that you always say, and not hopefully, prayerfully. And so I want to talk about that because prayer is so powerful. I know, this isn't a preachy show or anything like that, but you guys, we have our faith and we're not going to hide it. And so I just wanted to give some testimony that I had 2 prayers answered this week immediately. Like, pray, things are happening. And one of them was I sort of had, a tiff where I was really upset with my mom because she was not heeding caution. She was not socially distancing properly. She was having people over. She was doing this and that. Okay. And I don't think she was getting it. And then also being with my sister and my family, I'm like, if one of y'all get sick, I'm losing my whole family. Like, I'm just like, no, like, stay home. This is not a drill. And so, I had been telling her this for weeks, and finally I was like, you know what, let me just give it to God. Gave it to God in prayer the next day, and I know she'd be okay with me sharing this. The next day, God answered my prayer by, I know this is going to sound terrible, but she had a really bad experience when she went out the next day where a cop pulled her over. Turns out her registration had expired the 31st of March. We've been in COVID and all that stuff. The cop was kind of awful, tried to tow her car, took the license plate, all this stuff. Now she can't go out. Now she can't go anywhere. And, we were struggling through that and, trying to figure out how to work it. And I was trying to be supportive. And then finally at the end, I was like, but maybe this happened for a reason. And all the people in the house were like, yeah, we thought of that. We knew as soon as you said this is the next day after some prayer and, that intercession really did make a difference. And so I just want you guys to know that, yeah, we say prayerfully, because we mean prayerfully. We're practicing that. It's a huge part of how we're making it through this.
Yes, definitely. Without him, I'd probably be a lot different on this show. Julie asking, how are you coping? I'd probably be like, I'm not. How are you? Well, let's see. Don't ask me what's in my cup right now. Like, no. So he is a huge, if not the biggest part and biggest component of what is actually keeping me sane and keeping my happy. So that's 150% truth.
Yeah. And my mother-in-law, for any of you guys, who can't go to church, like some churches are doing them online. Stephen Furtick is doing such a great job. Like his sermons have been off the chain, still recording. My mother-in-law, if you're Hispanic and you want it in Spanish, is doing live streams where they're giving their sermons. Her and my father-in-law are pastors. It's just been really beautiful to be able to see how people are coming together online in all different sectors, gyms, churches, and different things like that. But I do encourage you to, whoever is listening, to seek out whatever it is that helps you feel, grounded. And for us, that's our faith. For you, that could be working out or whatever, but, seek it.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. You have anything else in these last few minutes, friend?
I think we should play a game.
What are we going to play real quick?
Okay. We have been participating in when I say we, me, my sister-in-law, different people, participating in a lot of challenges on Facebook.
Yeah, I've been horrible. I'm so sorry. I forgot about the first one.
And so I've been finding them really interesting because the people have more time to be online. And one of the challenges that I saw is called Unpopular Opinions, where you name something that you like, that you do not like, that everybody else seems to like. And then we talk about it. So if you could think of one and I could think of one. Something that I do not like that everybody seems to like. I'm not really a Star Wars fan. I can't watch Star Wars. I think it's boring.
I think I've tried and I don't know what the big thing about it is. So since we're talking about unpopular opinions and shows that we've tried to watch that you couldn't, or movies, whatever, you couldn't really get with, I tried, and please don't come for me. At me. I don't care. I tried watching, I'm not a fan of Breaking Bad. And I knew you would be my friend's face. Listen, I tried.
Did you try?
So I did try. This was pre-children, so pre-Nehemiah. I didn't have anybody to distract me. It was just my husband and I. And you know who really just got on my nerves and I just couldn't watch it because of Tico. The character Tico in the very beginning, he was just so dang on extra.
Okay, I'm not trying to give nothing away, but you'll get past that.
That's what my husband said. And, I think he said it took him a minute, but he went back and watched the second time. When he watched the second time, that's what finally hooked him. Mm-hmm. That's my unpopular opinion. I couldn't get with Breaking Bad.
I would just say try it again. But you don't gotta like it, but try it again. Because once you get past a certain hump, it's like, oh. And I feel that way about Ozark. The new season just came out. The first few episodes, you're like, what is happening? What is happening? It's crawling. And then you're like, wait a minute. Can you rewind that, babe? Hold on, what just happened?
Yeah,
it's really
my
great.
husband has taken off with Ozark. So when that came out, Nehemiah was little and I was nursing, and our nephew, Chris's nephew, would stay with us some nights. So of course, for me to nurse, I'd have to go into my bedroom. So when Chris was watching it, I'm like, just go ahead, because I'm probably gonna fall asleep with Nehemiah upstairs. So he took off watching the show, and I just never caught up. And now he watched season 3 in 24 hours because he stays up at night and just
I can't talk to him because I don't want him to spoil it.
Yeah, no, don't talk to him because you know him. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't do spoilers. Mm-hmm. Okay, next unpopular opinion. What do you dislike that it seems like everybody likes.
You already know Oreos. I'm putting that back out there.
Right. Right. See, I can't
And my
get
husband brought a pack. Like
yeah, he's like, you're like, my snacks.
yeah, exactly. He doesn't really do snacks. And when the first time he went grocery shopping after all this happened, he comes home with Oreos. I'm like, what? This is chocolate, but it ain't really chocolate. I'm like looking at him like, what is this?
Oh god.
Snack.
I've seen a lot of people say certain things like makeup. I've seen people say, I saw somebody say they don't like sleeping in. I guess because maybe they feel like their day would be wasted.
Maybe. Shoot, pre-children, yes, sleeping in. Shoot, with children, I would love to sleep in, but I think my body's so used to waking up that I've noticed. My mom has taken Nehemiah and Eliana like twice since she's been born, and I didn't sleep through the next morning. And I tried to make myself. I think my body was so used to just being up, but I like sleep.
Yeah, my body doesn't do that.
Yeah.
I'm learning to like it. I think my body is changing, but I used to detest peanut butter. Yep.
Okay, so are you team creamy or crunchy chunky or if you eat it?
Now, I don't care.
You don't care?
I'm a little willy-nilly with it now, actually. I'm completely changing. I used to dislike mushrooms. I eat mushrooms now. I put it in my food. I don't know who I am anymore.
Ditto. I like mushrooms now. It took a while. And what helped me with that was one, getting older. So I think the palate was getting refined. And two, when I started doing like certain clean eating regimens, those things introduced more vegetables and introduced like different ways to eat. Like I am a ranch dressing lover, and I know we're probably close to our time, but I'm a ranch dressing lover. But because of clean eating, I can do a salad with balsamic vinegar only, not the vinaigrette, like balsamic vinegar. So yeah.
Very nice. Well, I really enjoyed that. I think that's fun, a fun way to end this episode. You guys, thank you for tuning in with us for our Coping with Corona episodes. I know that you're probably so overhearing it. I hope we gave a new perspective because this pandemic is something that's affecting us all. So we don't want to not address the elephant in the room. So thanks for being a friend, guys. We'll see you next week.